Hey guys, I know it's been a while since you've seen my face. I was feeling extra connected this morning. So my spirit guides are ready for me to bring some different things to your attention. So I will be talking about a few things, and if you're interested, stick around. If this is not what you're into, totally cool. Your evolution is happening. We're all on a spiritual journey. And so as you connect more and more to your spirit guides and more to your higher self and more to God, as you get closer to him, you'll understand there's different ways to communicate with the spirit realm and with God. So today I kind of just want to talk about perception because perception is the thing that guides us most times. And so our perception is literally limited to our own experiences. So if we are not trying to broaden our perception or our knowledge, then our perception remains limited. Everybody has their own path to spirituality. Everybody has their own path to God. The same way we're not all created the same and we're all individuals, we all have a unique path and a unique way to communicate with God. There's no right or wrong way to communicate with Him. Yes, I said Him because that's the way I was conditioned. So that's a part of conditioning. Um, most of us are, we think of God as He because that is what we were taught in religion. And so there's no specific term for God. There's no specific handle for source consciousness, the highest level of source consciousness. However, whatever you choose to address source as or God as, it's what he accepts. He's all loving, all knowing, and will accept whatever way you want to communicate with him. So there's no right or wrong way to communicate with him. Expanding on perception. On my spiritual journey, I learned several things. I learned that there are a multitude of ways to interpret what we call religion. Most of us reference the Bible because that's what we were taught. We were taught that's the way we perceive it. And so those of us who use the Bible, we think that everything else that's being used on this planet is wrong. And so we actually sit around thinking, because we're limited in our perception, that everybody else's religion is wrong and ours is right. This is not true. We have to remain unbiased. So we're not supposed to judge. So we can't judge someone for practicing voodoo. We can't judge someone for being Muslim when we were raised Catholic. I've been multiple religions this lifetime. Um, and so I'm not tied to anyone specifically. What I am tied to is source. Okay. And so, however you practice that, I want you to know that it's okay to practice in whatever way you see fit. Now, let's go deeper into perception. So, perception is a crazy thing across all boards. We are limited in our own perception. This is not just to religion, this is to money, this is to sex, this is to raising families, marriages, relationships. We are limited to what we believe about each one of these things. And so when we are limited and what we believe, we can only experience what we perceive. So if we think that um, marriage isn't for us, it seems nice, but it's not something that you truly believe in your perception works out for everyone. Because maybe you grew up seeing broken homes and broken families, so you don't believe in marriage. Well, that's your perception, and that's what's going to form into your reality because that's what you perceive. So, in relation to money, if you've always been around broke people or in a broke atmosphere, and you believe that it's really hard to make money, your perception is that you have to work to make money. Your perception is that working hard is what's going to get you to the goal and get you the money that you want. Then that is actually your reality because that's what you perceive. Okay. So when you break out of your limited perception, when we start to expand beyond our limited perception, we will start to experience different things. So marriage won't look so hard to us anymore, or money won't be so hard to make because you start to expand beyond your perception of what it is. So if you can attach to someone else whose perception is bigger than yours or different than yours, and you are willing to accept that perception, then you have actually expanded. If you read a book that teaches you something new or teaches you a new way of doing things, then you've actually expanded in your perception. So I need y'all all to understand that we are all connected to source. Source is inside of each one of us. There's no exterior God that we are praying to. God is within us and He's with us all the time. When people say like God walk with you, you're actually God. You are the human form of what you and God agreed on for you to come here. So we all have this limited. A lot of us have the limited perception that um, we're born and then we figure out what we need to do when we get here. We actually plan before we come here. We plan what's going to happen and what our life is going to be like. So yes, we do have freedom of choice, but some of that choice is limited in aspects of you. It will take a lot for you to truly get off your divine path because um, the way that your life was created was to make sure that you fulfill a purpose. You came here to fulfill a purpose. You're here to fulfill certain tasks, certain purposes, to do certain things. So yes, it may take you a little longer to do them, depending on the choices that we make. But ultimately, fulfilling your purpose is a part of passing this class. Okay, so today I just want to show y'all that like you're you're more connected than you think. Okay, so you're more connected than you think. This chain is acting as my pendulum for today. You can literally like so tools are just that, they're tools. The Bible is a tool, the things around you are tools, your candles are tools, your crystals are tools. Anything that you use is a tool for you to connect to your higher self or to your own energy. Okay. So um my spirit guides are here and they're present today, and we have agreed to work together collectively. So we are gonna have some fun. So show me yes. I'm doing this so you guys can know what the responses are when I ask the questions, but I know what they are. Okay. Show me no. And show me I don't know. All right. So typically when you use pendulums or any sorts of things, you want to clear them before you use them. And you want to make sure that you are connected to beings that are here for your highest and best good. Today, I'm connected to my spirit guides, and they are not ready to share name, so to say, today, but we are ready to talk about some things. Um, is the Bible a tool for us here on earth? Is the Bible true and correct in all its forms? Have things been changed in the Bible to make us perceive things a certain way? Are we able to change that perception? Wow. Can we change what we've learned in the Bible? Whew. Okay, so we need to really pay attention to what we learn and what we perceive and how we perceive things, because there are only, like, once we're fed so many things, sometimes it becomes really hard for us to change those perceptions. Um, Sometimes it becomes really un unnatural, and I'm connecting because y'all, sometimes I get answers I don't expect, and it makes me have to broaden my perception a little bit. So you're not always going to get the answers that you want. So I had to go a little bit deeper and just get some clarity around the question that I asked in relation to, can we change the perception of what's being placed in the Bible? And so when you are talking to source or to spirit, you do need to understand that there are words here that we use um, in earth form that sometimes do not translate to spirit form. So we have to be careful how we ask for things or how we ask questions. And so um, the clarity around that came is that we currently cannot change the interpretation of the Bible. So when I asked if I can change can we change the perception of what's in the Bible? Technically, we can't, because that is what has been put out there for. Um, the intention was to deceive us, so we can't change that perception, but we can change our own perception by learning and expanding and doing more things. So I want to be clear on that so we can get some clarity there. Can I change my own perception of what's in the Bible? Can I affect change of the interpretations of the Bible? See? So it depends on how you ask this question. What Source is really saying is that you can only change your own perception. So I technically can't change your perception unless you actively want to learn and change it. I don't have control over anyone else's perception. Is Earth a place that we come to learn and experience? Yes. Okay. Is there a good or bad? Is there a unlimited source of power that we're connected to? Can we access this power? Are we blocked from accessing limitless abundance? Are we blocked from accessing limitless power? Can we access everything that we need? All right, so my arm was getting tired because I didn't realize that I was going to need to hold that up in order for you guys to see it. I didn't plan well. But um, I need some of us to go deeper than what our reality is, what our perception is. And if we can expand our perception, then we can access limitless forms of abundance and power. The reason I asked about there being good or bad is because our perception is actually what makes things good or bad. It's how we perceive it that makes it good or bad. So if we change the perception of a thing, then maybe it's not so bad. And maybe something you looked at as good isn't so good. The only thing that creates good or bad is our perception of it, of the thing. Go deeper than what our reality is, what our perception is. And if we can expand our perception, then we can access limitless forms of abundance and power. The reason I asked about there being good or bad is because our perception is actually what makes things good or bad. It's how we perceive it that makes it good or bad. So if we change the perception of a thing, then maybe it's not so bad. And maybe something you looked at as good isn't so good. The only thing that creates good or bad is our perception of it, of the thing. So if we can step outside of what our perception is, if we can expand our perception by learning more, reading more, experiencing more, understanding more, then we can have more. But if we want to stay limited in our perception, then we're going to be limited in our experience. And so some people I'm feeling have a problem with the word power. And that's because we have been trained to think that power is a bad thing. Just like we were trained to think that money and wealth was bad, right? Power isn't a bad thing if you understand what to do with your power. And if you understand how to use your power for the things that you are here to experience. There's nothing wrong with having power. There's nothing wrong with having money. Wealth is success. There's nothing wrong with any of these things. We have been trained and just taught so many things. Like for some people, the word power is a trigger. The word money is a trigger. The word wealth or rich is a trigger. It's like when I say those words, you feel something inside of you, like fluffers or flitters. You may get like almost like your heart is like jumping out of your chest a little bit because you're nervous that I'm using a word when it's just a word. If you are feeling that when I say the word power or when I say the word wealth or riches or expansion, then you definitely need to spend some time broadening your perception on those areas. Go deeper into what power really is and what's the source of power, and understand what money really is, because money is just energy. All these things are energy, and we can choose to access them if we want, or we can choose not to. And so power doesn't have to be good or bad, because there is no good or bad. It's just how we decide to use it. So let's challenge ourselves this week to look at what is limited in our perception and pick two or three things that we're going to expand on this week. Pick two or three areas in your life that you want to expand. And so, in order to expand those areas, read something, Google something about it, um, read a book that will help you to expand in that area. It doesn't have to be wealth. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be power. It could be relationships. It could be friendships. It could be anything really that you want to expand on. If you want to expand on your parenting, how to parent your adult kid, how to be supportive in different areas. All of this is a part of things that we need to expand our perception on so we can be better humans. Okay. I love y'all. Source loves you too. He's waiting for you to connect. Grab that chain on the side of your bed. You can do the same thing I did. Good day.